Hello, AP Psychology students, and welcome to Section 3 and 4 of Chapter 11 on Psychological Disorders. We're going to be covering mood disorders and personality disorders. Let's get to it. So, mood disorders. One of the first ones we're going to talk about is depression, which we throw around this term once again quite a bit in our society, discussing we like to over-exaggerate certain things. And so depression, to look at it from a clinical point of view or a psychological point of view, is a general feeling of being burned out about the future, having little hope, uh, belief that nothing good will ever happen to someone, and really it's the emotional, behavior, cognitive, and physical changes severe enough to disrupt a person's ordinary functioning. We all get down. We all have times when we don't feel great. We have a little bit of hope, not very much hope. We feel depressed. We feel down, but we're not actually having diagnosed depression. Usually, it does disrupt our ordinary functioning, but not on widespread, on a continuous amount of days or a long-term period. Many people that are linked with depression often think of death or have suicidal thoughts. Eating and sleeping disorders can often occur in coinciding with it. Sorry, women are actually twice as likely to have it more than men, and that could be because women are more likely to seek out treatment and to get help. Men don't seek help as much in terms of mental illness as women do. There is a saying in psychology, and maybe it's true, and maybe it's just cultural, maybe it's inaccurate, but women think and men drink. I'm not sure how much that is true, but depression is really kind of just, it's a dark place for a lot of people, and it's very difficult. It can be treated, which we'll learn in the next chapter. Um, Kurt Cobain here from Nirvana suffered from it greatly, and so sadly he killed himself in 1994. Next is mania, which is the opposite of depression. When you're abnormally high, when you have a state of exhilaration, when everything is going, everything's flowing, you feel wonderful, you feel excited, you can't contain yourself. That is mania, which can lead to spending sprees, impulsive and bad decision, risky behavior. Like, hey, you guys want to go to Mexico tomorrow? Let's go to Mexico. Let's just book a flight and go. Kind of that kind of stuff. Now, if you combine an episode of mania followed by one of depression or vice versa, that is bipolar disorder. We like to use this term in our society to say someone's moody, like, oh, the science teacher is bipolar today. No, they're just moody. Maybe they were in a good mood and then you did something really dumb in class and made them mad. They're not bipolar. So having an episode of depression followed by mania or vice versa. Many artists suffer from this. Mark Twain famously did, where they have this flurry of work where they get tons and tons of stuff done, and then they have months of just sitting there and they can't do anything, and they have despair and they have depression, and they're really struggling to get work done, and then all of a sudden there's inspiration, and they just kind of a flurry of action. Ernest Hemingway, his great novels, his 5 great literary works coincided with new marriages. And sadly, Ernest Hemingway eventually committed suicide, just like many people in his family. So why do people get depressed? There's 4 contributing factors. 1, genetics. Some people are more predisposed to have the chemical imbalance, to be linked to genetics. It is a moderately heritable disorder. Life experiences and circumstances. If you live in poverty, if you have a tough upbringing, it is difficult. If you go through a lot of trauma, you are more likely to have depression. So stress, violence, poor living conditions can all contribute to this. Problems with close attachments, a breakup, end of a marriage, end of a relationship, estrangement from family can cause depression. And then cognitive habits. Some people are just more neurotic. They're more negative in terms of their thinking, and it can kind of lead to a downward spiral. Now, those 4 contributing factors can lead to depression. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's not inevitable. Just because it is linked in your family and you live in poverty and you just broke up with your boyfriend and you know what, you're in a bad mood, does not necessarily mean it's going to turn into full-fledged depression. It doesn't happen that way for everyone. So those are the ways of thinking. There's the vulnerability stress model, that a person's vulnerabilities mixed with stressful events can lead to depression. Moving on to personality disorders. So, personality disorder is an unchanging maladaptive trait that causes distress or an inability to get along with others. And there's a lot of different various personality disorders, which are somewhat linked to the big five. And so if any of the big five are too strong or out of whack, they can lead to these personality disorders. So paranoid personality disorder, like Bart Simpson here, is where people think that everyone's just out to get them. They're just, there's a conspiracy. They're out to get me. I didn't get that job because they just didn't like me. They're doing whatever they can to keep me down. There's extreme jealousy. There's mistrust of others, which is typical in paranoid personality disorder. Narcissistic personality disorder, which goes back to narcissistic or narcissist, the ancient Greek person who fell in love with himself. I'll spit it out, I swear. It was where you're really into yourself, and you don't care genuinely about others as much as you do yourself. So it's a sense of self-importance and self-absorption. We had the old Smurf character here, Vanity, who's really into himself. When does it become a disorder in America? Because we score kind of high on narcissism and histrionics. We're kind of full of ourselves. We like to put ourselves out there, and here's an image of me on vacation, and here's an image of me working out, and here's a picture of me, and it's my countdown to my birthday. 14 more days to my birthday. Wish me happy birthday. Thank me. Wish me happy birthday. Give me those likes. And so it's kind of fueling that narcissism in our country with social media. And that's not just our country. It's Western civilization that's getting into that. Moving on, there are some people that are just bad who are willing to break the rules. And so we have some terms we throw around way too much in society. Psychopath or psycho is an inability to feel normal emotions. Basically, you do something wrong and you don't think there's anything wrong with it. We talked about OCD in a previous section where a person is aware they have a problem. Yes, I know this is weird that I've washed my hands 8 to 200 times like that video we watched. They know that's wrong. If somebody doesn't know that's wrong, they think it's normal, that makes them a psychopath. That makes them psychotic. And so they often behave cruelly or irresponsibly. They don't generally care for others. They often seem remorseful. They can seem like they have normal emotions, but they're acting. They are playing it up because they want to manipulate people. And so really what we have is antisocial personality disorder, which is a pattern of disregard for or violation of the rights of others. And so they manipulate people and they generally don't care. They make really good movie characters and movie villains. No, the one that's an actual real person is Charles Manson here. All the rest of these are fictional characters. Most of the people with antisocial personality disorder have a history of behavioral problems. Many people still have emotions, though, and so it is a little different there. A psychopath doesn't understand. They don't have the emotions. They don't understand that they're being wrong. They don't feel normal. They don't feel remorse. They don't feel sadness. Antisocial personality disorder, they do feel that. Now, the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is a sociopath understands really how to manipulate others and get what they want. So, causes of antisocial personality disorder: abnormalities in the central nervous system. There's something going on with the prefrontal cortex. They just don't respond, physiologically speaking, to punishment. When people are punished, the amygdala fires. That fear and anger kind of goes, and it just doesn't work for these people. They have an impaired frontal lobe functioning. So the highest order of thinking, the most human part of our brain, just is not working. It's an inability to control responses to frustration and provocation. This can be damaged as well. And then there are genetic influence as well, which accounts to 40 to 50% of the variation for antisocial behavior. Word to the wise: if they have a lot of face tattoos, just maybe steer clear. There's always exceptions, don't get me wrong, but face, neck tattoos, might want to just stay away. That's all I have for this time. Next time we'll get into drug abuse and some other things. If you have any questions, let me know.